Today we're talking about the 1994 film Angel Dust, directed by the filmmaker Ishii, Japanese filmmaker, and he's had a storied career that I honestly don't know too much about, but from what I've heard on videos and letterbox reviews and everything, he's had a very storied career where he started off making very punk stylistic films. And then he went into a phase in the 90s where he made more dreamlike, more slow, thoughtful, meditative, thematically driven films. And then now he's doing some even more crazy stuff. I think this one is 2000s. Electric Dragon 80,000 volts. A violent guitar-playing electrically charged boxer faces off against an electronic wizard half merged with metallic Buddha. This guy has some crazy premises. But yeah, so from the 90s kind of era, I've heard the big ones are Angel Dust, August in the Water, and Labyrinth of Dreams. Labyrinth of Dreams being the one that I haven't seen, but I have seen August in the Water, and now I've seen Angel Dust. And I watched August in the Water, I believe, a bit over a week ago, and I absolutely loved it. The first thing that I thought of when I watched it, I kind of related it to Pulse by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. And then Angel Dust is very much the cure to August in the Water's Pulse, which is very, very cool because these two filmmakers tackling these similar thematic, or just, the similar themes in these two movies. One of them's a crime movie, and one of them's a more meditative, kind of apocalyptic in a way movie in August in the Water and Pulse. And so, just those four movies in total being connected is just so interesting. And I love all four of them. Because I watched August in the Water, and I told a bunch of my friends, guys, you gotta watch August in the Water. It's so, so good. This scene near the end is absolutely crazy. And again, the kind of apocalyptic nature of it and relating that to Pulse, it was so cool. I really, really love the vibe of it. And the music in both of these are so good as well. Angel Dust is a bit more stylistic. And again, it's more the Cure. And Cure is one of my favorite movies. I watched it early this year, and man, it's just, it's on my Letterboxd top 4. I've been raving about it to everybody, trying to get them to watch it. I absolutely love it. A slow, meditative, semi-psychological, mind control-ish movie. It was so down my alley, and this is kind of a more stylized version of it with less meditative. Maybe that's not the right word. It's a bit more fast-paced, slightly more fast-paced, because there definitely is some slowness to this movie, and a lot of thoughtfulness within the characters. And both of these filmmakers, Ishii and Kurosawa, are masters at having people just relate to another person without having actually to say anything. Because there's a few scenes in this movie where the performances by this main actress, Kaho Minami, her she's not saying anything, but she's just doing the most in her role, and it's really cool to watch. And this poster is very creepy, and it's halfway through the movie, I'm this poster. I remember seeing this poster. It's a bit weird, but kind of knowing what the movie's about at the end, and just exactly what's going on with her character. I think this poster has grown on me a lot because of kind of what it represents. And so, quick spoiler-free thoughts without spoiling any. Yeah, that's what spoiler-free means, duh. But again, I thought this movie was incredible. I think I like it a bit more than August in the Water because it's a crime mystery movie with these more psychological elements. And I think those type of movies are just right up my alley. People say, they say Cure by Kurosawa. They say Seven by David Fincher. And I think this and Cure are better than Seven. But just the using these crimes as a method to explore somebody's psychology. And I'm also a huge sci-fi fan, more of a genre that I've created, cool concept where it could be very, very subtle sci-fi elements, and I still really, really dig this. And this movie has that as well, just like Cure. And I think that aspect of it really made me like it even more, because what the I don't want to give away too much here. What is actually going on and why these crimes are happening is unraveled in such an interesting way, and her involvement with everything is really, really cool to uncover. And she was just such a cool character in general. She absolutely killed it. Her style with her haircut and everything was so cool, and some of the connections she's able to make with the bad guy, I'll say for now, were just really, really cool. And last few spoiler-free thoughts. I think that, again, the style of this movie, you can tell that Ishii has a background in doing more fast-paced, stylistic things with his movie, which apparently he did with his previous ones that I haven't really seen. But in this movie, it had a weird mashup, because in a lot of like slower crime movies, they'll be very slow and that purpose of getting you to meditate on everything. But there were some like dreamlike sequence in this movie where it's like very fast cutting, and then occasionally it'll use this upbeat music as well, even while it's like some serious stuff is going down. And it was such an interesting blend of those genres. And yeah, it was just cool to see. And of course, these color palettes were also just so cool. I remember, I think I said it about I forget what movie it was. I was like, any frame in this movie could be, oh, it was Samba Traore, right? Any frame in this movie could be like a painting. And I think the color and like the composition of a lot of these shots as well, especially the dream sequence, I think. I'll just go from the very beginning here, because it's not like, I'm trying not to spoil too much, but there was a sequence where it was like in a cave. Yeah, right here. And like, I remember watching this, and it's like the darkness was used so well, the lines of the flashlights, and then when it kind of started getting a bit more dreamlike. Here, there's a short dreamlike sequence. Yeah, right here, where it's all this stuff is going down. Oh, so good. Incredible. And yeah, honestly, any frame in this movie. Oh yeah, there's like a TV here. Go like, like the colors are just so in your face style. Like the oranges in this shot, then you get a nice cool bluish kind of in this shot, and then there are definitely some like in this frame here, all the greens. It's like, he uses color so well. And yeah, man, I love the movie. I would highly recommend it if you're into crime movies. I would highly recommend it if you're into psychological movies, and I think I would just recommend it to anybody. I could definitely see some type of people who wouldn't like this movie. They would think it's confusing, but I really love the mystery to it. And so, yeah, that's all I'll say for my spoiler-free thoughts. But my spoiler-full thoughts, I have a few more things to say. So, what was I saying earlier? I was trying to get to the point where, yeah, uncovering everything about the bad guy. So, let me just remember all the characters here. So, we have her who plays Suma. Then we have Aku, who is, well, he's the bad guy in this scenario. And then we have, he's one of the other, no, he is the husband, right? So we have the husband's name is Tomo, and then we have Taki, who should be, yeah, she's the other girl. Okay, so now that I remember the character's name. So the reveal of what Aku is doing to everybody was just like the way it was brought up was so cool. I think that just in general, the entire, like, what's going on of this movie, in my mind, that we have Aku, who is, he does this reverse brainwashing, where he takes people and he claims that his business is very reputable. All of the clients that he has are really, like, everybody is very happy when they get the treatment from him, even though there is a bit of controversy throughout his methods and just what he represents with his reverse brainwashing techniques, because he was tasked to reverse brainwash Taki, who was a part of a cult, of kind of like a Scientology cult, really. It was like, there was a scene in the movie where Suma, she goes to this cult. I forget what it's called exactly. And it's very like Scientology. They're very like smiley, and they're like, we treat everybody as family here. And so the family sent her to get reverse brainwashed to try to get those thoughts of the cult out of her and kind of make her more normal. And the way that everything is revealed, more specifically, the way that this reverse brainwashing is infecting her mind is so interesting because it's set up where Aku's character, when he's doing these methods of reverse brainwashing, he's kind of becoming a mind controller in a sense that it seems like his feelings are like transferred to this person. The fact that he's the one doing this reverse brainwashing seems very important because of how his clients, his patients, or his victims really feel towards him, and how his feelings are like transferred onto them. Because I thought a really cool plot point was that a lot of these killings that were happening were to women who were wearing red. And that's kind of like a Memories of Murder thing, which is a funny link there. But the fact that they were wearing red, and then there were some that were wearing blue, was it? I think. Okay, so then there was this argument that Suma had where she was like, this person couldn't decide if she wanted to have a pink dress. Oh, it was Sleeping Beauty. It was her husband talking about it, and she was like, or he was like, that in this movie, it was like they were arguing if they wanted a pink dress or a blue dress. And then she was relating that to the case. And then it was revealed that Aku was colorblind and that he had a hard time differentiating between the red and like the bluish that the killings were happening to. And so that subtle hint into the killings linked it back to him. But twisty twist, it was revealed that it wasn't actually him doing the killings. It was Taki, who was the client who was a part of the cult that was trying to get reverse brainwashed. So this reverse brainwashing kind of is leaving his imprints on their behavior, on these killings, but it's not actually him doing them. He's just like mind controlling. And so the big reveal near the end, we have this scene where she feels like she's compelled to be with him because they were past partners, and she left for US to do studies, and then she came back and she has a husband, but she felt like she still was obliged to go back to this person, hence the mind control again. And so she gets a call from him being like, I know what's up with you. I know what you're feeling right now. He does this thing where it's like kind of like a scream prank where it's like, yes, you're wiping the sweat off your hand right now. And she is. And she's like, what? Are you watching me right now? He's like, you are of your own free will right now, but I know you're going to come back to me. I know that you're going to come back to me. And it's an interesting commentary on, free will and kind of just like abusive relationships, that it seems like he at some point mind controlled her, did this reverse brainwashing on her, and now a part of him is inside of her, which was, I believe it was a line in the film. And she is feeling compelled to whatever he did with his procedures to go back to her, or to go back to him. And she does. She goes back to him. And there's this whole scene where she's trapped in a room, and there's this TV, and it's a pre-recorded recording of him being like, yes, tell me about it. Kind of like a therapy session, but it's just his generic questions towards her. And eventually, it kind of like breaks her down, and she says, I love you to him. And it feels very, it's related to abusive relationships, because it's like, he's trying to force her to say, I love you, and convince her that it's of her own free will. And all of this brainwashing is, just like the context for that. And I don't know, the brainwashing stuff was just so interesting because all of these like imprints that he's having on everybody. And then in that scene, it's revealed that he implanted a story into Taki's head that when she was younger, there was this bee sting, and she like accidentally like killed her mom or something. I don't know. He's doing something with a bee sting with her mom, very dramatic, traumatic past. And he's like, I implanted that story in her head as a part of this reverse brainwashing. And it didn't actually happen, but she's convinced it happens. She says these lines that she remembers, and he says them at the exact same time. All this to say, all of these killings have been by like a lethal injection, a bee sting, a prick, a sting. And it's revealed that it was her who was doing this because of this memory that was implanted. She may have been the one doing the killings, but she, at the end of the day, was his pawn to his mind controlling. And a funny thing, talking about the ending. The very ending is the two, we have Suma and Aku. They're together. And they're standing together here. Let me find the still here. They're standing together, looking at whatever picture. Yeah, it's their picture when they were students. And they're standing like this. And it's so, it's such a sad ending because, yeah, I think that she was mind controlled by him. He had some methods, kind of like, never mind. I was going to mention Cure again, but I feel like I'm mentioning Cure too much, and I want to see this movie as its own thing. But, man, there's so many similarities. Her, at the end, I believe, mind controlled by him into being with him, into loving him. And he's like, haha, yeah. He just completely abused her into loving him. And so the funny thing that I wanted to say was, I watched this movie earlier today, and then I was talking to my parents, and my dad was like, oh, how was the movie? I was like, oh, yeah, it was a great movie. I really, really liked it. And then my mom said, oh, yeah, I didn't like the ending, though. And I was like, haha, okay, yeah, you didn't like the ending. And then she said, oh, yeah, the fact that he brainwashes her to be with him, I didn't like that. And I was like, what? I was stood there for a second. I was like, wait, that was exactly the plot of the movie. Well, you didn't watch it, though. And I was like, I was taken aback. I was like, whoa, this is a weird phenomenon that's happening right now. And she just looked up the plot that she had been mind controlled by him in the very end. And she said that. And I was like, whoa, that was such a weird moment. But I thought it was funny. And it kind of relates to the movie as well. So, but, yeah, what else do I have to say about this movie, really? I'm trying to just, let me give myself a quick refresher by skimming through all these, oh, yeah, like I was saying before, this beginning, like, dream scene in this cave was so cool. Let me find that exact moment. So apparently, yeah, she was in like some pod. Oh my god, that's a bit loud. All this. Because it's like she's in a dream with Aku, right? Is that Aku? No. So, yeah, she's in a dream caving with Tomo. Yeah, her husband. And then she sees Aku. And it's kind of just like, it really seems like this representation of, so at the beginning of the dream, her perceived normal is that, yeah, she's married to Tomo. And then all of this goes awry. It seems like Tomo is just lost in this cave somehow. She feels alone in this like encapsulated space that could be like her mind. She thinks that Tomo is the one she's with, she's connected to. They have this whole like weird hand ritual thing. And they feel very connected. And so that's what she thought happened. Then she lost him, and then this dreamlike scene comes up of Aku. And he's just like infested her mind. And so relating it to the mind control stuff, it seems like since the beginning of the movie, he has been infesting her mind and controlling her. And it kind of makes me want to rewatch the movie and like, how much of this can we trust? With this added knowledge that she might have been under that influence the entire time, what else can be discovered about this movie? And so, I love when movies do that. It's so perfect. And it's kind of like a lot of people do it with like opening scenes where it's like the opening scene is recontextualized once you know what happens in the very end. But I think that, yeah, this is a wonderful example of that. So, yeah, really, really cool. And what else do I have to say? For all the killings, because, yeah, a lot of movies, even if they're exploring other things, they use these crime aspects as a way to talk about other themes and everything. And the killings of this movie were very interesting. Because, yeah, they identified the patterns every Monday. And always women. And then you had that twist that Tomo actually had female anatomy, even though that he was her husband. And so there was that twist there, which, yeah, I thought was fine, I guess. But at the end of the day, why was she killing? She was under the influence, mind-controlled, by Aku. He was trying to do this reverse brainwashing. Was it just like a side effect? Maybe if it's like his feelings transferred onto her, maybe deep inside of him, he has these like innate nature that he wants to kill and hurt people. And so that's being transported onto her who can't control herself. could be something like that. And again, yeah, it's like they found these patterns like, oh, killings every Monday in the train station. Then it started not to be in the train station. And why is it always women? And again, maybe that could just be his feelings again. He's just so messed up. And that these women are targets because of his eternal feelings. But again, you never know. There's a lot to dissect with this movie. And again, yeah, I really, really loved it. These psychological crime movies are right up my alley. And this, along with Cure, is just like a perfect double feature. I really, really loved it. Glad that I watched it. Again, watch this movie as well as August in the Water by Ishii. They're both incredible. And yeah, I gotta watch more of his. I think I'll watch Labyrinth of the Dreams next because I really like this vibe of the 90s that he has. These more thoughtful psychological movies. But man, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Angel Dust. Really loved it.